Do you think that an
Mm-hmm.
apple could be an apple but simultaneously not be an apple?
Um, my view on Apple, yes.
You think an apple can be an apple while simultaneously
They're
not being an
different.
apple at the same
Well, I
time?
need you to be very specific of what you're talking about.
I'm being
Are you
very
talking about an
specific.
apple in
Can
general,
an apple
correct?
can an app yeah, can literally
Okay.
an apple that we hold in our hands,
So
can an
that is
apple
an
be an apple
objective
and then not be an
fact.
apple?
You cannot deny something like that.
No, no, no.
So,
No, wait, you think an apple is an apple but not an apple at the same time?
no, I'm talking about like you
Okay.
cannot
Right. Okay. Yeah.
disprove.
So we can see that an apple cannot be an apple and also not an apple at the same time, right? It simultaneously cannot do that. But if it is the case that all of our
Mm-hmm.
knowledge and everything derived that we have
Right.
discourse about is only aimed towards survival, why is it
Uh-huh.
the case that we have such things as logic? How does survival guide things such as logic like that?
What does what
Because
guide logic? What
yes,
are you talking about?
because survival is only to live and to keep our genes, right? But why is it the
Mm-hmm.
case that we have logical dispute, and why can we say, and
Give me an
how can we?
example.
I gave you
What
an
kind of
example. An
logic?
apple.
Yeah, what kind of logic tied to humans, not an apple, that has other to do with the fact of instinct and survival? So give me an example.
Repeat. You want me? What do you want an example of?
So give me a sense of some type of logic that has nothing to do with survival needs of a human or instinct of a human. So
Yeah, an apple being an
to a
can an
human,
apple
I'm not
be
talking about an apple. I'm talking about to
what?
humans.
No, that's not how logic works. What?
It would,
Okay,
because
fine. To a human, a human can a human be a human being, but not at the same time not be a human being?
that's not the question I asked you. You just
Yes, but why are you
no.
dodging the question though? What's
No,
your
I
problem
already
with my
answered
question?
that.
Tell me
I
why.
already answered that question to the apple kind of thing. It's the same
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
just a
So
different
yeah, you
situation.
granted that an
So
apple
I'm talking
cannot
about
be an apple.
logic. I'm talking about logic. So I want you to give me an example of logic without the fact of the survival and instinct. So give me an example of something logic to a human,
Yes,
not
the
an
apple
apple.
example is logic. I can tell you why. Yeah, so
To a
yeah,
human.
it's a classical logical law, which is the law of non-contradiction. This is a logical law. So not the law of non-contradiction just says
Yeah, I'll let you in a
like P
second. Ding
cannot be P
ding.
while simultaneously not being P, right? Like so when we say that can an apple be an apple but
So
not an apple at the same time, if we say that that's a contradiction, right? That's a logical law. That's
so can you
a
define what logic means to you?
what logic means to me. It's just how we derive inferences.
Information?
So yeah, no, it's how we derive inferences in
Information?
arguments and conclusions. Yeah,
Okay.
well, sure, but no
Okay.
inferences. Do you know what an inference is?
Yeah, but I don't. Well, okay, then I guess it's to you. I can't say that. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like a conclusion based on reasoning, right? So like a
So
set
give.
of
So
logic.
yeah, reasoning. So give me some type of reasoning that's coming from logic that people find out without using a survival instinct or any type of instinct to a human. Can you give me that
Why are you
example?
asking me this question? I asked
Because
you. Okay,
I'm.
so why are you? Okay, well you're deflecting. That's the problem, right?
No,
So I
I'm
give you an
just.
example of this
I'm.
apple. No, don't interrupt me. Don't do this.
If you're gonna repeat the same thing, guess what? I'm not gonna hear
Yeah,
it again,
yeah.
and
So
again,
so
and again.
again I gave you that
Listen, you
example, right? And
have
I
yet
asked
to
you,
answer. No,
hey,
you haven't. I said that is
so
not the
are you gonna let me
question
speak,
that
or are
I'm
you just gonna
asking
keep
you.
interrupting?
No, because
How are
you're
we gonna have
going
a
on
conducive
about
debate?
an answer that has nothing to do with the question. So of course I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
interrupt
You're
you.
deflecting. You're deflecting
If
again.
that's how you think
So
it is, then you can go.
whenever I ask,
Whenever you can leave. You didn't even answer my question. Okay, random. Do you have a voice?
Yo, yeah, what's up?
Okay, so do you have any points you want to say? Because you've been commenting a lot. So you have some type of
Don't worry,
argument?
don't worry. You should let Pretty Princess back up.
No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, they left. Okay, you looks
That was
like you don't
very,
want to go. That's okay.
very good.
You don't have to waste space. You can just leave the space. Hello, Wendy, and hello, Charles. Hey, guys.
What?
I'm just saying hello. I'm just greeting you. So, do you guys think morality exists?
Sure.
Okay,
I
what
would say
kind of
yeah.
what can you describe what morality means to each of you guys? Not the definition, just what you feel like it means to you.
Um, just like a basic
I would.
guides for like
Oh,
what
sorry.
is right.
Okay,
Yeah, I would say
Wendy.
about the same thing. Yeah, it's I will say I don't think morality is like purely subjective though. Hello?
Okay, so what do you mean by like Charles? What you said about right and wrong? Like, what do you mean specifically? Like, I need you to be
Bro,
more
why are you
specific.
calling me Charles?
Cause you look like one. And what's your name?
What?
You don't want to have a
Bro,
name?
just call me by.
What's your
Anyway,
username?
so like, I think that would just be like the basic definition of like what a morality would be, and like what I would describe it to be. So, for example, if I'm gonna be like choosing whether like what I'm doing is gonna be right or wrong, that would be like
Hmm.
a moral question. Hence you defining morality to be that.
Yeah. So, hmm. But where are you getting this concept of a right and wrong?
Yeah, I'm a classical theist, so I'm just gonna say that
God.
morals are gonna be like objectively grounded in a maximally great God.
Hmm.
I have
That
opinions on that.
that's not my direct question. Like, do you think morality comes from like it doesn't have to do with your sense of survival or instinct? You think it's different than those two?
No. Yeah, I would say it's transcendent.
What is transcendent? What does that mean?
Transcendent means it would just be like uninvolved or not necessarily be correlated to that.
Okay, so I would next ask you, can you give me like a moral thing that you probably have done that had nothing to do with your instinct or survival? If you feel like those two don't match.
Um, I would say like an immoral thing.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, good and
I
bad. So.
I
Mm-hmm.
would say like rash language, like for example, insulting someone, that wouldn't necessarily have to do with like instincts or like evolution. I would just say that would be like objectively bad.
Yeah, but that would have to do with a survival and an instinct if you get into that.
Wait, how would an insult have to do with survival?
You said a fight.
I said an insult.
Okay. So
Ooh,
you said like, can you give me like an example of that, or just the insult being said?
Well, yeah, for example, if I were to unprovoked call someone like a slur, that would like be obviously bad, but that wouldn't necessarily be instinctual.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
you'd be surprised actually.
I'd be deprived, okay.
She said surprise.
Surprised.
Surprised?
Yes.
But can I
I'm
just continue
lost.
on that? No, Birdie, let me just.
Sure.
So then I would ask you, like, how would you know that insult would be bad? From what?
Yeah, I would just like base it in the Bible probably. I don't know, use that as like a grounding of morality.
But no shade all tea. The Bible never ever said that you saying a slur is bad.
I would say rash language is mentioned.
Yeah, I'm asking you, like, where would that come from? Like, God gives you your sense of morality, but He doesn't tell you everything, like, would be a right or wrong thing to do. Okay, it would just you're getting
I
it
would
from. So with no prior knowledge to that slur insult, you just would think it's bad.
Uh, I would say that like yes, calling someone a slur would be like seen as bad universally. I would like
Yeah, but
say
I'm
that
like,
might be a
I'm
part of like
asking,
natural law.
yeah, I'm asking you, but like, why would that be a slur? Like, where would that come from? Like, why would you think that word? Because at the end of the day, it's a word. Like, where would that come from for you to think that
I
it would
would
be
say it
bad?
would be like two extremes. I could say it would just be like it could be like reactionary, or it could come from like deep-seated hatred.
Okay, just real quick. I'm no theist, but God did not give people morality. If He gave them free
I would
will, and we
disagree.
design morality for ourselves to prove that we are worth
I
it
would
to go to
completely
heaven, but
disagree.
even then, that's not true altruism. So
That's
where
not what Christians believe, though.
do Christians believe that God gave man morality? Because that's technically, by giving them something,
Yes.
an infringement of free will. He wanted
Wait.
to test man and give them
So,
entirely
for
free will.
example, I would not. So, for example, like we believe in something called like the natural law, which is just like a certain set of values, something we can like guise to see like if something would be like relatively wrong or relatively right. And we could just describe this to be like the senses as far as just like we feel a certain way when we do a certain action. Due to that action being good or bad, we would just describe that to be the natural law. And I just wouldn't necessarily say that would be like an infringement on free will in any way, because it's not going to prevent you from doing the action if you necessarily feel bad after doing it.
But it does. But morality does prevent you from
Wait,
doing good and
what?
bad actions. It is an active influence on all of your choices.
Yeah. Does everyone have the same morality?
No. But that's
Exactly.
ingrained in us from our society, not from some
No.
intrinsic.
I would say like universally, I would say like unprovoked murder has always been seen as like a relative bad if it was just like random and
No, it
unprovoked in
wasn't.
like some periods of history. So yeah, could you like name one period of history where it would be seen as like normal? Unprovoked is
Um,
the specification.
like in the beginning of like the Homo sapien life, like it was just like an everyday, like,
Well, yeah,
to,
you're gonna have to prove that. You're gonna have to prove that to me that like
yeah,
Homo
there's,
sapiens would kill each other unprovoked.
That's nature
but
for you. Before we developed,
oh,
it
cock
was
it.
just on
That's not
nature.
true though. Unless you have like
There's
empirical
always a
proof
reason,
of
but
that.
like everyone has different type of reasonings on why they would do it. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
so I'm just gonna still say it's false unless you provide like empirical
yeah.
evidence.
So, there's multiple skulls, like type of fractures that can only be done with a
Yeah.
certain type of weapon
How would
that
that
would only be created by
wait,
a
how would
human.
that okay, so yeah, how would that like point towards unprovoked murder? It could have been like an actual
Wait,
like
so when you say
fight
Well,
where like
unprovoked,
life and
Yeah, what do you mean unprovoked? That
wait,
doesn't.
yeah.
so
There's no
what
such
do you
thing as
mean going on
unprovoked.
the
so
offensive?
yeah, that was the
Like, do you mean
specification.
going on the
So yeah,
offensive?
yeah. So unprovoked would just be like there would be no other like reason to hurt this person
No,
other
what
than
does it
just
mean to
like
you?
your own
Because
wanting.
you just denied
Well, yeah,
almost what I
I
said.
just defined it.
So
Well,
if
yeah, because you don't
it's
actually have like empirical proof that it would be
no,
unprovoked. I could just say that it could
I
be
did, but you
unprovoked.
denied
Wait.
that.
So what was your justification to say it was unprovoked?
Um, I wasn't, again, I didn't say it was necessarily unprovoked, but I was gonna say that we have
Okay.
different views on certain things, like if somebody would, kill or not. So what they were doing back then might seem unprovoked to us, but what they were doing, um, to themselves, they would have been like enough to be necessary. So it would
Yeah,
just have to
even
be a
nowadays.
subjective kind of thing.
Even
What,
nowadays, there's
yeah,
no such thing
I
as
just wouldn't go
unprovoked
to
because
wait.
murderers who have
I have a
mental
question.
illness that do things unprovoked are doing it because of their mental
yeah,
illnesses.
that's
And that
true.
is the reason
Wait.
behind it, but it doesn't mean it's a good
Does it
one.
change
It's
the
just the
fact that they
reason
murdered
behind it.
someone?
So
Don't
there's
you
not
hope
really
that like
anything as
murder wouldn't
unprovoked
be
because there's always a
justified?
reason behind something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say,
Wait,
but
for
mhm.
example, if I were to like so yeah, there's always gonna be a reason, but I'm just gonna say like sometimes the reason's not gonna be like justified as far as just like the motivation of it, it's
And
just
what
not
would
gonna
make you in
be like
charge of
actually
saying that?
good. For example, well, yeah, for example, if someone were to just like want to kill someone for no reason, just because they want to kill that person,
But
I
at
would
the end
say
of
that
the
would be
day, there's always a
unjustified.
reason. It's different reasoning because
Wait, so
reasoning
yeah,
can be subjective to anyone.
I'm just gonna say like that, like reasoning would be invalid. There's like a valid and an
It
invalid
would be
way about like
invalid for a
going to
reason.
kill someone. Yeah, for example, if I
Why?
just like wanted to kill someone for no apparent reason, that would be invalid, I would say. I
No,
would
but
just
there
say that's
would be a reason,
unjustified.
though. There would always
There
be a
would be a
reason.
reason
Wait, there would
because
be
it
a,
would be
I've
a
already said
psychological
this. I've
disorder.
already said this. I've already said this. So there can be a reason, but it can still be unjustified. It could be a horrible reason. Like
According
for
to
example,
who?
someone could step on my toe and I don't want to.
Yeah, but like according to who
Yeah,
though?
I'm just
Like,
gonna say I'm just gonna appeal to objective morality. If there's gonna be a maximally great being, I'm just gonna ground my morality in that.
I think what you're trying to get into is the fact that it's invalid due to societal views on death
yeah,
penalty.
exactly.
Reason
No,
behind the murder.
no.
But
So
what
wait,
at the
so
end
for
of the
example,
day,
like I
it
get where you're trying
always
to
is a
say.
reason.
Like I
There's
guess what
different
you're trying
reasons
to say,
behind
but for
every type of
example,
historical.
yeah, there's gonna be a reason. But I'm just gonna say some of these reasons are just gonna be unjustified.
Yes, unjustified due to the views of our society. That's
I wouldn't
morality.
hold that. So for example, if I went to like Russia, it's a different like society, it's a different like social norms. If I kill someone there
Yeah,
and for
social norms.
like a weird
But not
reason,
everyone
for
had the
example,
same
I just want
social
to
Social
find
norms.
Mexico,
norms.
bro.
Social norms is that is
Wow.
what that is.
So wait, if I
Social
just
norms
kill someone,
create
it would be
morality.
justified.
Exactly.
Wait, social norms create reality? I would disagree. I would just say there's
No.
Morality.
universal.
Morality.
Yeah, I would still disagree.
That's okay. But then you will have to probably
Yeah, I mean, you're
provide
just gonna
like
have to justify.
you have to probably provide your proof upon like
So you're just gonna
any
look at,
reason
wait,
is unprovoked and that's
no,
not a
it's
good
not.
reason. That's an unjust reasoning. No, it would be though.
Wait.
Because
So,
no, but like
so you
wait,
made
hold
a
on, I'm not
positive
done.
claim. Do you know what a positive claim is? A positive claim is a truth assertion. So you need to actually substantiate and prove
No,
how
I'm
like morality
not the
is
one
based on
saying that
You
though.
didn't substantiate. You just was like, "That's my
Wait,
opinion. I
wait.
disagree
So
with
that's
that," and
just
you
a
haven't
burden.
backed it up at
That's a
all.
burden shift. W burden shift. Anyway, can you please like substantiate your
Hold on,
reasoning
give me
on
a
like
second. Okay,
why?
give me a second though. So again,
WG.
you're the one who brung up the fact that there is
That
an unjust reason for of murder of somebody doing that. There's people who've
yeah
done that. But we're saying there's always a reason. There's always a reason. Whether you
I'm just
feel
gonna
like
say,
it's not
for example,
good enough, that
if
doesn't make
wait,
okay, no,
that's
no, no,
not
no.
it. So
I'm not done. Wait, hold on. I'm not
you have to
done.
substantiate it with this.
Okay, so I guess we're not getting nowhere with you because again, I wasn't done speaking and then you're asking me questions. Okay, so the guy
Yeah, I was
brung
kind of
up
confused on his whole.
yeah, I don't know what made him the vocal of saying if something's not a good enough reason. He's not God to be making that kind of assertion. So, um, does anyone feel like morality exists?
I do.
What's like your claim? I kind of missed.
So I feel like the morality that I'm looking at, and not the one that majority of people will agree on. The only way is for morality to exist is just for it has to do with your survival, like if it's affecting your survival and instinct. So if it has nothing to do upon those things, then I feel like it does not exist. But the morality that most people talk about, that I talk to, they're not saying those things have anything to do with morality. So like a good and bad decision could be like if I do this, is I would die or not, or like some type of instinct. You know, if it had nothing to do upon that, then it's not a good and right. You know, that's what morality means. So, can
I
you
have a
give me?
question.
Oh, okay. Girl, bye.
Yeah,
Who?
so like
Yeah.
you mean that, like, so you mean like if the moral question has nothing to do with like our survival or anything, that moral question doesn't exist.
Just
So
morality in
like
general.
for
Yeah.
example, so like when so like for like animal rights activists who argue that it's morally wrong to kill an animal, would you agree with that? Do you think that's a moral question? Because like even saving an animal does not benefit us, but most people consider it immoral to attack animals.
Yeah, but
So,
where is
like,
that
what are your
stemming
thoughts on that?
from? It's stemming from a
Well,
survival type of situation, a living and death
I actually
situation.
don't think it stems from survival at all. I've taken quite a few classes on this for my major because I'm a psychology major. I actually it relates
Okay.
to the morality that we develop as a society, not stated in any natural instincts, minus the given few that directly correlate with survival instincts. It's
No, I'm not saying that's what it is in general. I'm saying what I view, which morality is just as like principles and beliefs of good and bad, right and wrong, would only have to strive from the fact of your survival and instinct need to survive. But people, they don't associate with that. They think a different view of it.
So
So,
are you like interlinking logical reasoning with morality?
what'd you say? What does that mean?
Are you like basically linking them together? Are you saying what's logical is moral?
I didn't bring logic into it, so no.
But you just said like for survivability, you were like saying that if it's for your survival, then it's moral. That's the argument you were making, right?
No, it's a morality. Because morality just means good and bad, right and wrong. The decision, you know. So, like, it would be a good thing if you step off, at a place rather than not step off and then just a good and right type of situation. And I feel like that only comes from your sense to survive or not, or just in general. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think your sense of survival has anything to do with morality.
Yeah, I
I
know.
also know that
But you just
in
said that
nature
it
they
did.
experience
No, to
in
me.
nature they experience a type of empathy sort of that goes outside of just survivability, the offering of food to other members of the same species or even to a different species, even though it directly like cuts down on the amount of food that you would have. That happens in nature all the time, and that exits survivability to a point of empathy. But it's not their morality, it's our morality judging it from the outside. So
Wait, can you let like the guy who's like raising his hand? I think he's like
No.
trying to stay stuff in chat.
So again, like it would have to do with a survival type of situation. Like that animal possibly knows like it's gonna die, so that's why it did it. So that's what I mean. Like the broad term of survival, not just to one thing. So it gave it its food because it knew it was going to possibly die if it didn't. So that's what I feel like that morality comes from. Or
also
morality
not
just
over your self-preservation, but also the preservation of others. That's what you mean.
coming from survival stuff. Instinct, yes.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, like, how can you get a morality that doesn't consist of those things? And can you give me an example of any one of you guys have that?
Oh, I actually do have one. Self-sacrifice to the point of you dying.
Okay, can you give me, like, example, like, why would they do that?
Um, that's a wonderful question. Why do firefighters run into open buildings to save small children and pets?
For life. So again, like, what I mean is it's broad, so not just to one thing. So good and right to do with survival in general, not just to that one thing,
Oh,
right?
just not related to
So, like,
survival.
survival of the species.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and
Noticing your
they,
classmate dropped a pencil in class and picking it up for them.
okay, okay. So can you give me an example where that's like a good situation?
I know exactly why people do it, but sometimes they have their own reasons. Um,
But you're tying morality to this, which,
typically, yeah,
mhm.
typically It's because it gives you social benefit, not survival benefit.
Oh, okay. So what benefit could you get from picking up a pencil socially? I thank you.
You could make a friend. You could, the people around you could know that you're a good person. I know that's why a lot of people make choices, because they want other people to perceive them as a good person. The social
Okay.
benefit of choices affects how we make choices so heavily.
But it comes back to why you're doing it for yourself, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then why do you need friends?
That could dive into the different thing of needing to be a part of a community. We
For what?
are a social species.
Because we're stronger
and we
together,
have-
right? A lot of animals are
Well,
stronger together,
no,
right?
People can do it. It's just the emotional and like mental impact of having community around you. We are a social species. We,
Correct.
just like a lot of different animals,
Yep.
hate self-isolation.
Yeah, but it's not for the only reason. It's because we're social species, and this we just are just socially need to be with each other. There's a survival gain from it. That's why you're better off, being born inside of a house with people to take care of you for your survival type of thing. So they're all, for me, like that just falls back into a survival type of situation. So,
I feel like the correlation and causation ties of this argument are not quite attached.
all I'm just saying, it will fall back on a survival need, an instinct need to survive. Because, like, I can give other animals, for example, like lioness, girl lion, whatever, it's better for them to be together. It's not because they like each other or not, it's for a survival type of thing. So I would also pair that to human beings. Why most people, thrive being together is only for a survival thing. It's not on anything besides survival. And that's how I look upon those things. But if you disagree, I would like for you to give me an example.
I guess I'm confused because as a species, our social circles don't necessarily correlate with our survival now that we're an advanced society. And it's
Okay.
sure they were built off of it, but our society as itself, morals as we perceive them only exist because we've advanced as far as we have. It's a
That's
societal
true.
concept, kind of stops there. And it's only
Well, I don't feel
morals
like it
only
would
exist
stop.
in
Yeah.
our advanced, in our perception of morals. It only exists in our advanced society. We have we have created the need for morals because we live in a societal world rather than living in one that only is based on survival. We have
So why
different needs for survival nowadays than back then, so we can't accurately compare the two.
So I would give you an example. Just because we wouldn't use it anymore doesn't mean it doesn't have the same purpose as what it would be in the past. So I feel like that certain thing wouldn't change why it was necessary to begin with, because if it wasn't necessary, then we wouldn't be doing it anymore. So the only reasons for morals on having a right and good only falls back in society, and why a lot of people have that is only coming from a survival type of situation. Because if we were just wild, disgusting animals and didn't have no moral...
That's not how societal concepts work.
Yeah, I know.
We have impendous need for time, but we made that concept up ourselves.
That's true.
We have a lot of need for morals in society, but we made that concept up
so
ourselves.
Why do you... I know that. So why do you think we created morals? Why do you think that?
To keep people in check.
For what? In case what happens?
Morals have been pushed in the way that they have because of religion a lot. because a lot of people want to get to a good afterlife, so they make good choices. That's a
But
lot of the stem of our
yeah, but a lot of
societal morals. And there's a difference between societal morals, self morals, and like
there is a difference, but all of them have the
species
same
morals.
purpose.
I
There's a
have to
reason.
go check my notes to get the names, but
Yeah, but
there's 3 different
morals,
names for both.
morality doesn't just come from people and who just believe in religion. There's a lot of people who have that, like me, who don't believe in religion. So it's not just because of that. There is a reason
Yeah,
that I
it's
know you know.
primarily just make choices just because they think it's a good choice.
For
I'm
what
definitely
though?
not
Why do they
saying
think it's a
that
good choice?
because they want to care for others. They have their reason
For
for
what?
their morals shifts from being a religion aspect to being a societal one of just wanting to interact
No,
with
I'm
people
not
and
really.
do good while you
Okay.
exist.
Okay, but why though?
Because we want community. That's
For what?
exactly why we want.
Again, I'm just trying to get you to say it falls back on survival, because if people didn't have no morals that ties into laws, then a lot of negative stuff that will affect people's survival would take place. That's why laws exist, and that's why morality.
I would definitely say that.
No, I would just say,
that morals correlate
okay.
to survival, but I don't think survival causes directly leads to morals. I would say it has an effect on it, but I wouldn't say that's the only reason why we have morals, nor would I say it's the direct connection.
It's not a direct, but it falls back on the reason why you're making those decisions. Like for the animal group type of.
One reason in a handful of many reasons why we have morals.
Okay, but I would just say that would be the starting point of it. And if you take that survival instinct away, then everything would fall apart. So I would just say it's the first stepping block on why people do what people do, good or wrong, because of the sense or the need to survive in the
Can I
broad
ask you something?
sense. Okay, go.
Last week I returned someone's wallet to them. They left it at like the place I worked. I ran back to their car and gave it to them. So
Why do you need a wallet?
What survival has money in it?
And what does money buy you?
Everything.
Okay, so what is a necessity?
What
is a
immediate
necessity?
survival instinct? What immediate survival instinct forced me to
I
give
didn't
it
say
back to them?
immediate. I would say that's what it always goes. It's the first point of it, the starting point. So what is a necessity that person? Wait, hold on. Give me a second, please. Give me a second.
Bonuses or minuses that we're getting.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that, but
In
that
my
doesn't.
opinion, it's kind of delusional to tally up all these
Okay, so
moral
let's
things
continue with
just
the
to, benefit
example.
yourself.
Let me just continue with this example you gave, because okay. So why does people need money? What did you say?
To buy things.
Okay, so what is a necessity that you need to buy?
Food.
And what happens if you don't eat?
You dead.
Are you gonna give back a wallet to someone who does certain, you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Who do certain things to their body that gives them euphoria? Are you gonna give a wallet back to that kind of person and it ruins their body?
What?
Let's say, okay,
That
I'm
doesn't
trying not
give
to
me
say.
the right to steal their money.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
saying to steal it. No, I'm not saying to steal it. I'm just
That's
asking.
exactly what you're saying, though.
Hold on. Just focus on what I'm directly saying to, not what you're tying it into.
I literally am.
Okay, so do you know why people just don't give money to homeless people, and why they specifically give them food, and why they people make sure to tell people just to give them food? Do you know why? Do you know why?
Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you, do you know why?
Not really.
Okay, so the reason why people don't directly give homeless people money is because most of the homeless population do certain DRU. Okay? So, and if you continue to do that, you'll pass, right?
Is it not
And they don't want.
judgmental of you to immediately assume someone's going to spend their money on drugs?
I'm saying not just anyone, homeless people.
Isn't it
Like, I'm
morally
specifically.
better to assume the best of
So
people
are you
rather
saying
than
that
the
homeless people are
worst?
less than basically
always-
like assuming that they're
I'm
always
not-
having bad intentions?
Listen, if I never
That's
directly
exactly
said
what
it
you
to
just
you,
said.
if I'm not directly saying it to you, then stop saying that I'm saying that, because I never said that. Okay?
That's what you're implying
So
though by saying
it all
that you would
falls
never.
back, whether you think it or not, it all falls back on a survival type of thing. You're giving that wallet to somebody because without that money, then they won't buy necessities like food to live.
So why would giving food to a homeless person affect your survivability?
I was just talking about survival in general. Just survival in general.
No,
I mean,
actually, that's a good question because you're not going to get any societal buffs from the homeless person.
I
you
said in
just helped.
general.
It's
Did you
about
not
the
hear me?
feeling of good inside of yourself.
It's in general that falls back on the survival kind of thing.
What do you mean
Again,
by
I'm
in
not-
general? Can you define that?
In general, like, apply to everything under the survival. Me, you, any living thing.
How does that relate to survival?
You know what living is? Survival and
Yeah.
living is the exact same thing.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. So it could be because a lot of
So
people
how
don't.
does that relate? How does giving food to a homeless person exactly affect your living?
I was talking about. You're not understanding. This is the last time I say
Yeah,
it,
but
okay?
that's what I'm talking about though.
This
That's
is
what
the
we were
last
just
time I'm
talking
gonna
about.
say it. I've repeated this like 8 times. I'm talking about in general. So not just you, everything with it, okay? So you,
Yeah.
anything to live, right? So it might not benefit you in particular, but if you give back that wallet, it's gonna benefit that person to live. Because the money's gonna buy those necessities. No one's just buying things that is not a necessity when they get money. They're going to buy food, and when you need food to survive, you're gonna need water and stuff like that. And that's what I mean.
Do you
Doesn't that just prove my
then-
point? Because I'm talking about that goes beyond your own survival instinct. You're looking out.
Okay, we're not using him
Yeah,
anymore.
so I think what she means is that there is like an evolutionary basis for in-group and out-group. And so what she means is that when we do something good, we're doing it for our in-group, which includes us or people who we
To
deem
need
to
to
be in our
survive.
in-group, which is often our human species. Yeah, as a means for survival. So I guess that's what she means.
Thank you.
Do you think
I
then?
will say,
And that's
I will
what makes
say
us
I
different
agree
from
that like
other animals.
evolution.
Because we do that, and because
Yeah.
we know it's going to affect their survival rate, because we know
Right.
that we're all going to pass. There's a lot of animals who don't care, and they know that fact, and they don't contribute to it. So that's what I'm talking about.
I see what you mean there. Do you suppose then that the fear of death for ourselves and others guides morality a little bit more, or is it just
Yes, of
on
course.
instinct alone?
Because you know what's going to happen to them if you don't give back the wallet and they don't buy the necessities. Yes, of course.
Is there a difference between the fear of death and the survival instinct, or do you think it's psychological or instinctual?
There's no difference between. Well, there's a difference, but there's always an end result of survival and death.
No, yeah, I just the difference between psychological input and then the survivable one, the genuine
There's-
instincts that we have, like to
Mm-hmm.
eat when we're hungry and all of that stuff. Do you think do you think it's more psychological, or do
No.
you think it's
It's an
physical
instinct.
instincts?
Survival is not like a deep thought. It's just what your instincts tell you to do. Well, you don't have to think psychologically to do those things.
Okay, so not the fear of death,
It
the
would be though.
instinct to avoid death instead of
Yeah,
the fear
yeah.
of death, or
Well, it's the
you
same
think so?
thing. It's what you just, it's the same thing. It involves death.
Would you like me to kind of explain what I
Yeah,
mean
I'm
by
just-
the difference between the?
I just want you to tell me, like, what are you trying to impose?
Yeah. I'm trying to impose the fact that morals is more inherently psychological based than it is instinctual. Does that make sense?
No. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with it. Because the prior example that you gave with the animal giving its food to another animal, they not to say animals can't think hard about something, but the only thing that they're thinking hard about is the need to survive. So I don't feel like you need
No,
to think
no,
that hard.
Yeah. The need to survive. You think in animals it's the need to survive. Do you think in people it's the fear of death? Or do you think it's also still the need to survive? Because
I think it's both.
I'm pretty sure the want for something else to die is also what I mean by fear of death. If it's both, then we can agree that morality is not simply based in instincts, but also mentality and psychological input,
And it falls
probably
back on
genetics a
what?
little bit too.
Yeah, that's true, but it all goes back to survival. But
I'm
you
saying
can,
that they're mutually exclusive, but not falling back on one or the other. We're
yeah,
far
not
too complex of a
falling back,
species
just
to
go
only
straight.
be reliant on one thing for the reason that our entire society works.
Yeah, but the only, like, the reason why, it might not be the exact reason, but the back of it would always be a survival type of thing. And that's all I'm basing it and saying. So, you're not gonna, the reason why you're doing some things, you might not think in the moment it's just the need, just because you want to do it, but it all goes back into the need to survive.
Does that mean that morality doesn't exist and is a fake thing, or
Well, again, like, people believe morality that has nothing to, the general idea of morality, when people talk about it, it has nothing to do with life or death or survival or instinct. They don't compare it to that. I compare it to that because, again, I believe it falls back on this the number one thing why you're doing good and wrong is because of a survival and instinct type of need. But people usually don't say that. So it does exist in what I said, but not in what they said.
okay, all right.
Well, I really do appreciate both of you young ladies trying to get an understanding, even though you're not 100% set, that's completely fine, on how someone feels. So yeah.
I would love to read a research paper that you write on this, I think. And I mean that genuinely.
You can do that.
I I I think your input would be very valuable in a college setting.
What does that really mean, though? Like, what are you trying to tell me?
No, I'm in a way complimenting you because a
Oh,
lot of my classmates have these types of discussions, and I'm always interested in reading what they write. I'm a psychology major, so.
I can tell. Yes. Well, again, I do appreciate you, Birdie, for coming up and talking.
Thank you. Have a good day or night.
You as well. Okay, we're gonna pause the live for a second. I'm eating.